All right, let's get into this one. We got our music pumping, making us feel good. I accidentally did all my splits, so I have a much better chance of hitting nicer splits this time, I guess, which is good. On the plus side, I did get the first room split that now includes the fact that I've routed this button in right here. Click. I can only improve based on that. I'm no longer going to be going backwards just because my route changed. Oh. Whip. I'm not so sure about the timing on my mashers now. Oh no, but still fine. Great. Hit the button. Glad the button went first try. Sometimes I have issues with that. But this is going to be a nice, clean run. I even let go of the movement controls at the right time so that Noctis was facing the correct way and I didn't have to turn him around. That's just an omen. That's just a good omen. Theoretically, I shouldn't have to swing there. Swinging being what I call the attacking in the air with the daggers. I shouldn't have to swing there in order to hit that button. In practice, I found that it's just more consistent for me if I do. I am not often. I have missed that enough times without that I swing all the time now, just to make sure that I make plenty of contact with the plate to make sure it activates and that door gets taken down. So yeah, cleaner run through first room, got a nice screen there.
Give this a go.
Nice clean run through here. This is good. This is going to be a fantastic run. I say trying to convince myself. Don't question it. Look. You remember the secret? That was all the rage like 15... Was that almost 20 years ago now? No, it couldn't have been. I was in high school and I'm only 28. Okay, so about 10 years ago. The secret, all this rage of positive thinking. You know what? Whether or not the universe rewards positive thinking, your own body and psyche rewards positive thinking, which is why I try and... I often make an active effort to use positive language. As much mumbo-jumbo science as it may be in terms of, again, the universe will reward you, that I'm not as sure about. But I know that I'm happier when I'm considering things in a more positive light. So, as much as I may sound sarcastic or sardonic as I say it, say things like, this is going to be a good run. This is going to be a good run. And having thus said so, as the beat drops in the music, all that it remains is for me to make it so. And I'll be honest, thus far, the efforts of myself and Noctis here are bearing that fruit forward. This is a fairly good run. And it makes me happy. Nope, can't jump that quite. Getting a little bit choppy here. Ah! You know, that doesn't surprise me. My best friends are all where I have just a little bit of trouble on this guy. We're alright, aren't we, Noctis? We're doing alright. Doing alright. This is not one of the areas I'm too concerned about. This one's fine. Oh, that was silly of me. This one is just figuring out how to go over an edge, which is one of the skills you have to have in this dungeon. There's no getting away from that. You have to know how to traverse a strange corner like this one. And then we bounce on a moving object and bounce off a moving object. And that encapsulates most of the strange movements that you have to be able to do to get a good time in this. Okay. Too late for that platform, but that's okay. We'll get the next one. Go 1, 2, 3. Right on over. Perfect. We have just a second here to collect ourselves as we wait for this platform to come to us. And then we're over here. Jumping into the spikes is not ideal. No, we'll wait for the next one. Not much I can do when it's already that far out. And yes, I still could have gotten on it and ridden it around, but then I can't do the skip. 1, 2, 3. The counting may not be necessary for other people, but for me, it 100% is. I have to be full count, one count. Okay. Whip. Whip. On up. Over. Ooh. Ooh. That's good. Whoa! Pay attention to what you're doing. And by you, I mean me. I still somehow made that. And that is stupendous. Good omens. Good omens for the run. That's a less great omen, but it's fine. I can show off the actual tech here a little bit better. It's... Well, that's not it. The tech is actually falling this way, so you don't roll off the edge of the thing. Or if you are going to roll off the edge of the thing, roll off right in front of this doorway so that you can then swing and still land in it. Or do like I just did there and swing and miss. Swinging and missing is also fun. Otherwise, why do you think baseball would be a thing? Jokes. Bad jokes. So yes, hitting that first cycle is great. It skips a lot of things, but it also leads to some other complications, like making sure that you can get this jump. You have to go fast enough there to be able to not sit and wait for it. My game is getting choppy again, which is unfortunate. This is one of the unfortunate realities about running on PC, is that sometimes you just... performance just tanks because it's a PC. And that's what happens in PCs. The reason I run it on PC, though, is because I am no longer used to controllers. I am not entirely certain that I would be able to do this again, or do this run as well with a controller. But it is worth looking into because it will probably be more consistent. The game will run more consistently, less frighteningly, if I were to. The issue I run into, and the last time I tried to pick up a controller and play any Final Fantasy 15 with it, is I'm just so used to the mouse controls at this point, to mouse look, that not having mouse look is
Give this a go.
It is actively difficult. Trying to turn around and look around corners and aim with a, which is that's exactly what you're doing in a platformer. You're trying to aim the character model in the right direction. And so for me, attempting to aim with a analog thumbstick is more difficult than trying to aim with a mouse, which makes sense. It's always easier to aim with mouse. That's why FPS is simpler with mouse and keyboard than it is with a controller. On the other hand, purely digital movement, I only have eight directions that I can point Noctis in. Obviously, your 4 cardinal, and then the 4 corners, the 4 diagonals. And so I am more reliant on the pointing with the mouse to point him in the correct direction. I spend most of my time pressing the up button and then swinging the mouse around wildly. Net 0 on the tilted room, but that's good actually. Pretty clean. Pretty clean. Let's get up here quickly. I had a pretty clean tilted last time, had a pretty clean tilted this time. I'm okay with those coming out as a 0. I expect... Currently, 1 second. Okay, great. I'm expecting that this one will be about the same then. Because... because I forgot to hit the button. I should have hit the button 2.5 seconds ago. Because I forgot where I split on that guy, which is fine. It's showing as a couple of seconds longer. It wasn't. It was about the same. That was on me. That was on me hitting the split. I kind of want to figure out how to... In general, I want to learn how to program. Just because it seems like it will be a good skill for the current...
This is ridiculous.
The current ways that technology is advancing in society, etc. One of the things that I would love to get is an auto splitter for this. We don't, as far as I'm aware, there's not even currently an auto splitter for Final Fantasy 15 main game. There has been a load remover on several different occasions. I'm not sure if it works with current version. I haven't paid too much attention to the community recently. But an auto splitter would be nice. Okay, we're gonna get this first try. I can feel them in my bones. I'm gonna go right here and fall off. I stopped paying attention to my stamina bar at some point. That was silly of me. I'm going to call this first try so that I wasn't lying. No, it's fine. Optimism only gets you so far. Then pragmatism has to take over. And pragmatists, well, I won't speak for others, but I know for me, I'm actually mostly a pessimistic person. It's okay. That was... Oh, wow. That was dangerous. I did not think I was going to make that. I'll be honest. I love using the Catboy costume on this just because the idea of Noctis having a tail while he's trying to do this platforming appeals to me. Having the additional balance. Obviously, there's no actual gameplay impact. But it just seems like it makes more sense for a cat person to be running around doing all this ridiculous platforming. Okay, here we go. Just miss it. Just miss it entirely. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, I'll be honest. Or there? So, it's an unfortunate fact that this skip is the fastest way through this room. And I say unfortunate because I have another way through this room that is not as fast, but is so much more consistent for me that I just... But it's not... You know what? No. I'm not even... I want to get a good time instead of... Or I want to put forward a time. And with as inconsistent as Skip is for me right now, I'm just, specifically today, I'm just gonna get through this dungeon, or get through this room and move on. And so you'll notice that suddenly I'm going the wrong direction. And that's because if I come up over here, I jump across these guys, and I come up over here, I trigger this thing, and then I come back down here, and I go up here, over the top, then I stand right here and I wait. This is slower than skip. This is obviously slower than skip. No getting around that. Well, actually, with as long as it takes my stamina to empty, this is still slower than skip. But it's more consistent. And for right now, where I'm just trying to put forward a time, I'm going to take consistency, please and thank you. So we'll just go ahead and fall down here. And it takes most of your health. If that is consistently the same amount of health I have left over every time, there is so many jokes that can be made there, and that's fantastic. So I use the same save file. I always load the same save, which means that I'll always have the same health when I go into that. And if it always takes away the same amount of health, because I think it is, I think it's percentage based for that specific fall. I don't know that every instance of falling damage is percentage based, but that one definitely is, because it never kills you. It couldn't kill you. If you died in this dungeon, there would be issues, but I think it's supposed to scare you. It's specifically built to take a hefty percentage away. Did I fall when I did that run last? No, apparently I did. Sweet. So I'm not certain that I'm going to get sub 20 on this one. In fact, I find that highly unlikely. But I am going to get a fairly good time, which is nice. I did mess up Skull Room quite a bit, which is unfortunate. But I did get to at least show off that skip a few times as I... Oh, fun, sure. Yeah, let's start over here. Let's start over here, because nothing like voiding out in one room and being sent to the beginning of a different room. That makes perfectly total sense, game. Thanks. I appreciate it. Whip, 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 and whip, and whip. Okay, we're good. Anyway, that was what was I talking about? Obviously, I wasn't focusing enough on the game, what I was doing. So let's focus on that instead and not talk about whatever it was I was talking about. You wouldn't think that jump would be as tricky as it is, but it is.
Great.
I like to fall down there and on the ramp, even though it's farther away from where I need to get to, because I know that I'm going to have a recovery animation, and it allows me to do that recovery animation in a safe spot where I'm unlikely to fall in a way that I don't want to. This fall is planned because it puts me right where I need to be. Get up here. Now, there is an argument to be made, and I'll have to take this to the community. Anybody who also cares to also run this this category in the future. There is an argument to be made that the elevator button right at the beginning, the one that I have to sit there and wait to activate before I can hit, can be skipped. It doesn't have to be counted for an all plates. If it is literally the only plate that isn't. Let's not mince words there. It is the only plate that you hit, or that you would not be hitting. But it's also one of the only plates. It is the only plate in the dungeon that can be hit multiple times. So if you notice through the crack in the door, as I was over there by the entrance again, it had lit back up. which none of the other plates do.
Yes.
All the rest of the plates are a one-time use plate. Oh, that was close. Dang it. Okay. Yeah, I think going out this way is going to be faster than jumping all the way around. All the other plates are a one-time use plate. You hit the plate and then a thing happens. And that thing can't happen multiple times. The elevator plate, you hit the button, the elevator goes all the way up. And if you're not on the elevator at the time, then the elevator comes back down for you. It also reveals a hidden space that that doesn't actually lead to anything except items, which are unimportant for the run. There's no additional buttons that have to be hit down there. So there is an argument to be made, since it is unique amongst the plates in the dungeon. Technically, the plate that's outside the dungeon, the very first one you hit, does a similar thing, because they're both just basically elevator buttons. Or not just basically, they are both elevator buttons. They make the elevator go up and down, depending on which one you hit. An extra minute and a half on that, that's not great. I keep wanting to hit my split on that guy, but I very specifically moved my split to the white button before it for a reason. Actually, that's where I want to be. Okay. So there's no good way, unfortunately, to land on this switch. And, well, that was silly. What in the world was that? Like, he didn't fall for some reason? There's no good way to land on that switch and then just immediately fall off. I would love to just have him fall off in that cutscene. It'd make this whole thing much faster, but he doesn't. But for both of those switches, which don't actually affect the ability to finish the dungeon, but they exist, and so they must be hit. You'll note that I have used the word switch, plate, and button interchangeably, which I think is fun. Anyway, for both of those buttons, it's faster to void out to the beginning of the room to get to where I need to be after that. Well, sure. I didn't actually pick up the black hood somehow. Sweet, 23. That is... Go ahead and say that. That is pretty darn good. I'm okay with saving that as my PB, even though I don't think it actually is. But it's my PB for current route, so that's good.